pregame football show.
Really? This guy?
You put the hut in your what? Epic intro, blow the budget. Hall of Famers, Super Bowl rings.
Some people call me a
Football king, are you ready to get ready? To get ready to be ready. Y'all ready?
this week's
Football show. Whoa.
time for the Lockdown Gambling Show. Welcome in. It is divisional round of the playoffs. A lot of fun games. It's not just me, though. As always, we have guests. And my first guest, co-host of the Lockdown Corner with me. You know him and you love him, Dustin Burgundy. Thanks for filling in a pinch. Plus, I already know you had some thoughts on the games. We talked about them on Wednesday, so good to rehash them here. And also, he only was here for 1 week. So we brought him back because I think he's got some good gambling advice. Plus, I already know he has placed his bets for this weekend, so I'm curious to get his thoughts on all of that. Daddy-O, CB, Chris Brault, back in the fold after 1 week where I destroyed you.
I could cut your show short. Whatever I picked, I'll share with everybody and just do the opposite.
Oh, well, there you go. Although I feel pretty good about where I stand. So let's just get into it. Game number 1 of the weekend, the Cincinnati Bengals, everyone's apple of their eye, going to Nashville, Tennessee, where the Titans are 3.5-point favorites at home. I literally, as we started this, Ian Rappaport, Derrick Henry will not be on a snap count today, so Derrick Henry will be at full force and ready to go. So you got that. Julio Jones, A.J. Brown are fully healthy, so they have their full complement of weapons. Cincinnati struggles against the run. We all know what Tennessee's going to want to do. They're going to want to run the ball, where Cincinnati struggles. So, and also, here's the other thing, and I don't want to take credit for this because it's a great thought, but Bill Simmons on his podcast, beware of the team that celebrated too much for one playoff win. Cincinnati celebrated like they won the Super Bowl. So maybe that was their Super Bowl. Plus, is this Cincinnati team quite ready to make the jump to an AFC title game? I personally don't think so. I think Tennessee wins this game pretty convincingly. Anybody?
Dustin, would you like to go?
Cooler.
Yeah. Sorry. I was going to see here. Yeah, a lot of chemistry going on here. A lot of chemistry. You can tell we're good. But I mean, this is tough. This is really tough because I mean, you look at Tennessee. They're literally just getting all their star players back. So how are just like us? How are we all going to work with each other? How's the chemistry going to be? Are they going to be on the same page? Are they going to know where to be? Because obviously, we look at the football teams, and when they're star players, everyone wants the ball. Everyone wants to make the big play. Well, are they going to get on the same page? They haven't played almost. All of them hardly played in every game this season. They played in a couple games, maybe all 3 of them. So, how are they going to all work out? Are they going to balance the run and pass? It just I'm curious to see how they work it out. But I think Cincinnati can take this game. I think they can cover that pretty convincingly. Just win the game in general. I think Cincinnati can win.
I'm kind of with Dustin there. I think Cincinnati, they're hot right now. But the Derrick Henry thing kind of intrigues me. It's going to be, are they going to feed him and keep Burrow in the offense, off the field? Are they just going to run the clock? Are they going to, run the ball with Henry and keep Burrow off the field? I don't know. I do like Tennessee on this.
Oh, the way you set that up, I thought you
I'm going back and forth because I really do like what Burrow's doing in the offense. But if they can control the ball with Henry and just keep those guys off the field, I think Tennessee maybe gets this one.
Well, and I'm looking at trying to look at the weather in Nashville for this game because playoff games, they always got to take that into account. Looks like little to no wind. It's going to be mid-30s, so weather not a real big factor here. So it's not like Tennessee's going to be, it's cold, let's just pound the rock. They're going to try to do that regardless. It could be 80 degrees. That's what they're going to do. So,
and do you happen to know what kind of pass defense Tennessee has? I didn't have a chance to look at that.
Their pass defense is so-so. It's not great.
Okay.
So
Cincinnati could put points up. Tennessee's got to control the ball.
Well, and Cincinnati, they're down a couple pass rushers. That also doesn't help their case at all. Sorry, the glare is distracting me behind me. But I don't see. Yes, Cincinnati can score, but Tennessee has their full complement of weapons. So if it gets to 3rd and short or even 3rd and long, Tannehill statistically has been really good in 3rd and long situations. So weird. For me, this is a gut play. I just don't see this Cincinnati team. This feels like they're a year away. Like next year, they're going to add a couple pieces, get better on defense, and then it's going to be, okay, let's go get it. This year, I'm wary. They're giving game balls to bars and stuff in Cincinnati. I feel like last week was their Super Bowl. Hey, we finally won a playoff game. Can they do it twice against this really good Tennessee team, which, by the way, is a number 1 seed, and nobody believes in them?
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem real that they are number 1.
That's what I'm saying. So there's a little bit of no one believes in us factor 2 here. So for that reason, I like Tennessee. So just to clarify, because I'm still confused, Pops, you're taking Tennessee?
I want Cincinnati to win, but I think Tennessee can control the ball and keep Burrow off the field. Okay. So I guess I'm going Tennessee, but I want Cincinnati to win.
All right. Well, I'm crossing out. I had Cincinnati. The way you prefaced your analysis sounded like you're taking Cincinnati. And I know in our group text.
That was brought to you by Sundrop, unofficially. Sundrop, the Golden Cola.
That is a shameless plug right there. Okay, moving on. Oh, boy. We're going to be involved in this one. Dustin, you are going to this game. Pop, you and I are parking cars for this game, which, by the way, if you need a place to park, come see us. We are across from Granger and Roll Arena in Green Bay. Actually, it's not Roll Arena anymore. I don't have the address memorized.
It is now a church. It's Borvan or Morris. We are in the middle of Borvan Street and Morris on the east side of Holmgren Way.
Well, there you go. If you need somewhere to park, you will see our beautiful faces this afternoon starting around 3 o'clock. We will be there ready to roll. I believe parking, what is it, $20?
$20 for playoff parking.
That's how we do it.
That's a bargain.
Yes, it is a parking. I mean, it's like that Geico commercial that you keep seeing, or Progressive or whatever it is, about people growing into their parents. And, this place just must make a ton on parking. It's just, that's exactly what that feels like, especially around Lambeau.
This is compact.
Yeah. So anyway, let's talk about the actual game. San Francisco coming into Titletown, 6-point dogs to the number 1 seeded Green Bay Packers. Here's where I'm at. And this one actually comes, our YouTube hype video. If you haven't seen it, go check that out. One of the comments on there, I factored into this because I think it's an important stat. Green Bay in the Aaron Rodgers era, 0-3 against the 49ers in the playoffs, and 0-4 coming off a bye. Well, they got a bye, and they're playing the Niners. That doesn't look great. And we know what San Francisco's going to try and do, especially with a banged-up Jimmy Garoppolo, or James Garoppolo, if you prefer. And we don't really know which version of him we're going to get, but it's going to be freezing. It's already freezing up here. By the time kickoff comes around with wind chill, it's going to be in the negatives. So we know what San Francisco's going to try and do. Garoppolo may only throw 5 times in this game. That's totally plausible. We've seen it before. In fact, I wouldn't be shocked if we see shades of that 2019 NFC Championship game. But here's the deal. Green Bay is actually really good against the run on first down, statistically. They only allow like 3.4 runs per carry for that first carry on first down. So that's actually in line with league average, maybe a little better than league average. Second down, that's where they're vulnerable. You can run on second down, and for whatever reason, whether that's scheming, Joe Barry, the defensive coordinator's style, I don't know, but you can get them on second down. But if they can just contain the run game and force Garoppolo to make throws, look, that's not new. We talked about this on Wednesday, Dustin. If you contain Debo, contain Elijah Mitchell, keep everything slow it down. Hell, even keep San Francisco off the field, because you know what they're going to try and do. They're going to keep you off the field. We'll do the opposite to them. So, and this is the other thing too. Green Bay needs to get off to a fast start, because if they are up 14-0, 14-3, 17-0, somewhere in there, then now you're asking San Francisco to come all the way back with a banged up Garoppolo. I like your chances there. However,
where is George Kittle? I haven't heard his name.
So they ran the ball a lot. So one of the other podcasts I listened to, I don't remember which one. Sorry, no plug for them. they were saying that San Francisco is running the ball so much lately that he's been blocking a lot more. So
yeah, he's like a non-factor in the pass game.
Well, if they use him today, Green Bay's in, just deer trouble because they struggle against elite tight ends. They have for a very long time. If Green Bay starts fast, now you're asking San Francisco to play catch-up, which they've done, but in a cold with a banged-up Garoppolo. Nick Bosa is playing. Fred Warner is playing, but they're both banged up. So I'm going to actually take San Francisco to cover, but my heart is I can't bet against Green Bay. So if I was betting this game, which I actually, after this, probably will go and do, I'm betting San Francisco on the spread, but Green Bay on the money line, because I do think this is finally the year they get over the hump. But that's a big number for a really good San Francisco team. We've seen these games be close before. So that for that reason, I like San Francisco to cover, but I like Green Bay to win.
Well, I've been struggling on the betting edge. Go ahead, Dustin.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry to cut you off, Chris, but yeah, so I'm kind of right with you there, Al, except, I think this is going to be a different story. Obviously we see the close games in the past with the Packers and 49ers. I think this one's going to be different. They're coming, in a packed crowd. I mean, I don't know if you guys have heard, but I heard there's going to be 80,000+ people there at the game. And they're trying to jam pack the stadium. And I don't think San Francisco is going to be able to be ready for. Yeah, I don't think San Francisco is going to be ready for that. I think, coming in the cold with a huge packed Green Bay Stadium, I think Packers are going to win this pretty handily. I think they're going to win by 7 for sure. So I'm taking Green Bay to cover.
God, I hope you're right.
Yeah, I'm with Dustin on that too. I got a feeling that Green Bay they're ready for this one now. Getting beat and their record. I don't know. I feel like they're going to come out. I'd even say 10+. But I've been wrong before. I don't know. I think they're going to get up on them, and I think they're going to put the hammer down.
Man,
I think they're ready for it. I think Rodgers has had enough, and with San Francisco, and I think they're going to light them up.
If there's ever a time,
I think this is the time that they get their stuff together and take care of San Francisco.
I guess that's why they play the game. So I think this game's going to be close. I can already feel tightness in my chest. I want nothing. I actually just want this game to be over with. Win or lose, just get this out of my life. Because all week I have been stressed to the max.
Well, both of us live about a mile from the stadium, and our houses will probably be shaking. It's going to be rocking there. And Dustin, you need to lead this. That place needs to be loud. If that place is loud and electric, I want to see you on TV with your shirt off.
Yeah, whipping it around your head like a churro. Yeah, exactly. That place has got to be loud if they want any shot. That crowd, I think, is going to play a major factor tonight. But let's move to tomorrow's games. The Rams are going to Tampa Bay to take on Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. This one, for me, Tampa's O-line is banged up. We still don't know if they're all-pro left tackle or right tackle. They're all-pro offensive tackle. Tristan Wirfs is questionable. We don't know if he's playing. All of the weapons for Tampa Bay are injured. Really, and you saw it in last week's game against Philly. Brady only trusts Mike Evans and Rob Gronkowski. That's it. They don't really have much of a running game, although it sounds like Leonard Fournette is going to go tomorrow. I don't know how much of a factor that's going to play, especially with a banged-up offensive line and the really good stacked defensive line of the LA Rams. This is the only thing I will say. Another thing I learned from Bill Simmons and his playoff betting manifesto, as he calls it. Beware of the team that looked really good the week before. Because are we sure the Rams look that good? Or is it the Cardinals being that bad? I tend to lean on the Cardinals looked really, really bad. Kyler was disoriented. He looked like he had no idea what he was doing. So now all of that said, I think the Rams do win this game. I think the added boost of Cam Akers really helped them in that Monday night game. But I think the Rams just win this game outright. So the 2.5 doesn't really scare me. So I'm taking the Rams because this is not the same Tampa team that we have seen. And last time these two teams played, they were healthy, and the Rams still won that game. So give me the Rams on the road at Tampa.
Chris, I want to hear what you got to say about this one. I want to hear it.
Yeah, I'm with the Rams for sure. One reason because I'm so sick of Brady winning all the time. I'm hopeful that the Rams will win, but like you said about Cam Akers, he looked good. He looked quick. He looked fresh. I think that's going to help them a lot. And, I agree with a lot of your points. They don't have anything outside of Evans and Gronk.
Yep.
I mean, if you can cover those guys, I don't know. Tampa just they win and they've blown some teams out. But I don't know. I think the Rams go in there and take care of it.
Well, and the other thing is if their offensive line is banged up, they're going to keep Gronkowski into block, which means less routes for him.
And you got those studs on the Rams defensive line rushing.
And Von Miller looks like Von Miller of yesteryear. He's kind of had a resurgence here in the last couple of weeks too. And especially if you're down half your offensive lineman, I don't like that combo. Dustin, what say you, good sir?
Well, you guys talked a lot about, what the Rams are doing, but you forget one man on the Buccaneers team that scares everyone. I think you know who that is, Mr. Brady. Obviously, in the playoffs, yes, we all hate Tom Brady here in Green Bay, as well as I do. I despise the man. I wish he would snap his femur and be out of the league because I just hate seeing him win.
Wow.
Not literally, but, I hate seeing him win regardless, No, I don't wish that upon anyone, but main thing said, I hate seeing him win. But one thing, okay, relax here. One thing being said, you'd never bet against Tom Brady. I've done it time and time again. He has burned me every single time, so I'm going with the Buccaneers because it's Tom Brady.
And that's totally fair because I've made, truthfully, since sports gambling was legalized in Green Bay, weirdly, only, I've made a lot of money off Tampa. So thank you, Tom and Tampa. But I just, at this point, he doesn't look like he's having fun. This isn't the same team. They don't give you the same vibes that they had last year. Last year's playoff run, it's like, oh, damn, you do not want to see this team. They're rolling. Playoff Lenny Fournette. They had all this stuff going for them. This year, it's like they're crawling their way through the playoffs, whereas the Rams have momentum. Although, yes, I'm a little wary because they did look that good. So there's that overconfidence thing. So while I can totally see Tampa winning this game, or at least, winning by a field goal, as the line suggests, truthfully, if I'm a Packer fan and they end up winning tonight, I want Tampa. Bring them up here with lack of weapons. Please bring them on. I don't want to see the Rams, even though it's Stafford at Lambeau and there's some weird stuff there. If Green Bay wins tonight, I want Tampa because that team is real banged up. And I think you can get to them. And I think that's what the Rams are going to try and do today. Plus, their secondary has been kind of garbage all year. It's been fine. I shouldn't say garbage. That might be a little strong because they have Antoine Winfield Jr. They got some guys. But, I mean, when you're rotating in Richard Sherman and guys like that, I mean, Sean Murphy-Bunting's been fine. But who's the answer for Odell and Cooper Kupp on that team? I don't know that they have it.
Yeah. I was going to say the same thing you just said about with the Rams. I don't know that you can stop all those weapons. Higbee, good tight end. I mean, offensively, the Rams, outpower what the Buccaneers have to offer tonight.
Yeah.
Or tomorrow, I should say. So that offense is strong right now, and I think Cam Akers is going to make a big difference.
I think it did on Monday night because they were able to kill the clock a little
and
fast.
Again, that's Arizona, but I mean, he looked good, shifty, quick. I mean, and plus, don't sleep on Sony Michel. I mean, that dude's good too.
Well,
I like him. I don't know.
Okay. New England gave him what? New England just gave him away. I think it helps that he's in an offensive system, but I digress. Now, speaking of offensive systems, we got a battle of them Sunday late Sunday. Buffalo at Kansas City. Kansas City 2.5-point favorites at home, which really is the new. It used to be you get 3 points at home if you think it's gonna be close. 2.5 seems to be the new normal, as obviously the last two games were both 2.5. Kansas City, Buffalo. It's going to be fun. Buffalo has looked really, really good. Kansas City also finding their groove at the right time. But at some point, the Bills not having Tre'Davious White, their top corner, has to hurt them. It hasn't. I'm not sure how. At some point, it's got to rear its ugly head. So can they keep up with Hill and Kelsey? Although Hill, he's been on milk cartons. Where has he been? He's been totally MIA. And the other thing is, can Kansas City, who's played a lot better defense since really the Jordan Love game, Can they contain the dual threat that is Josh Allen? That's going to be a huge, because Josh Allen can run. I know Mahomes can too, and there's also a little bit of this Mahomes FU thing, because everyone's been like, oh, who would you rather have the last 10 years? Josh Allen. And Mahomes is kind of, he's not everyone's golden boy, so to speak, anymore. So I do think that also plays a little factor here. And also, just a little thing. The offensive coordinator for Buffalo, Brian Daboll, is getting a lot of head coaching interviews. Is he going to try and prove that he's this offensive genius and switch up what they're doing to prove that he's this offensive guru? I mean, it's a factor. I don't know how big of a factor, but is he going to try and be too cute and too smart and try too hard instead of sticking with what works? I don't know. This one for me comes down to Kansas City is at home. That's a really tough place to play. Buffalo can do it, but I'm getting 2.5 at home with Kansas City. So Kansas City is going to win by a field goal. That's totally plausible. I will take Kansas City, who I believe should be the 1 seed.
I like this one's tough. This is going to be a fun game to watch.
It's really tough.
It's going to be – I think Buffalo's riding high right now. So I don't know what other explanation I can give. I like Buffalo going in there to win. Besides the Packers, I like all the away teams this weekend to come in and take business.
Well, you know what that means, people listening at home. Bet the opposite.
Bet the opposite, and you will do well. Opposite of what I say.
I might do a parlay just opposite.
Do opposite.
What happens?
Brought to you by Sundrop, unofficially.
Dustin?
Sorry. You kind of kept cutting you. I was waiting for you guys to finish. I was just kind of watching the rodeo. I'm kind of watching the back. I'm in the back of the stand. Sorry. Yeah, it's been a long morning. Okay, anyways. Yeah, that's a bold take to take a lot of the away teams, but like you guys said, this is gonna be a tough one. This is a tough one to pick. I think, like you said, Alex, I don't think he's gonna do anything different than what they have been doing. Obviously, since they're red hot, there's no reason to change it up. I think he's gonna realize that. And there's no reason to change it up. Keep what you're doing. Let Josh Allen put the ball in his hands. Let him go to work. And I think Buffalo wins this game. And I think it's gonna be a really, really close game. But I think they'll either cover or they'll win the game.
Well, and they totally can cover. I think this game is going to be close unless for some reason. But there's just something about Kansas City at home that scares me a little bit more if I'm a Buffalo fan. And look, I don't think the offensive coordinator is going to change anything up, but it could be a factor if all of a sudden we're looking like, what in the world is Buffalo's offense doing? Just do what you did last week. Plus, they also have that be wary of the team that looked too good last week against New England. And yes, it's a divisional game, as was the Rams game. So that kind of also plays a factor in all this. But Kansas City at home kind of got their mojo. Although Buffalo is red hot right now, I think they kind of figured out, oh, hey, this Josh Allen kid, if we just give him the ball every time, we'll be okay. And yeah, you could talk me into Buffalo wins this, you could talk me into Buffalo wins this game. I have no issue with it. Give me the home team this week. I like that matchup, especially with the defense. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to keep up with Tyreek Hill. Now, can they find Tyreek Hill? I think that he's going to be a major, major X factor this weekend. Plus, also, we don't know if Kansas City's going to be able to run the ball because Clyde Edwards-Helaire, that whole rotating cast that they got behind Mahomes, a little shaky, but when they run the ball, they're really tough to beat. So I guess I'm banking on they're going to run the ball and find Tyreek Hill. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah. And Buffalo lately, they're putting up point after point. They are scoring big time. So one thing I did do on my parlays for this week is the over on that score.
Ooh, nice.
So if you're looking for a score thing, I think there's a lot of points. It was at 45.
Really?
Yesterday, I believe it was at 45.
The over-under in the Kansas City-Buffalo game?
Yeah. So over on that, I don't know what it's at now, but I believe it was at 45, 46, something like that when I locked it in yesterday.
Holy smokes.
I think it's going to be high scoring, so that was kind of a no-brainer for me. But, of course, like I said, now it'll be 10-7. So.
Well, and earlier this week, that number, the over-under, was at 49.5, I believe.
Okay.
So that really dipped. Or the Oneida Sportsbook just runs on a different wavelength.
And I did read an article too that some people were saying the under because the defenses were playing better, but I don't know. I think there's going to be a ton of points scored in that game.
It's going to be hard to contain both of these offenses in the same game. If you tell me this game's 31-28, well, that gets you over the 45 pretty easy. So, and I think that's what it's going to be. I think it's going to be a 31-28 kind of deal, and we'll go from there. So before we take off here, before we end the show, do you have any best bets of the games we just went down? Is there anyone you are locking it in? This is a definite. You feel real good about it.
Well, the one I just said with the over points, if you're looking for just different parlays to do.
Sure.
My heart is really liking the Cincinnati. I know I picked Tennessee on the show today, but just on a gut, if I had a gut feeling, I really think Cincinnati's going to win that game.
Dustin, your best bet.
Not necessarily a lock, though. I know you're looking more for a lock, but I guess my lock would be the Packers with the -6. I'm taking Packers in the points.
Wow. All right. Dustin, your best bet.
Yeah, I would go the Packers, but I mean, if you're going to do like a teaser play, I mean, I would take a teaser on the 49ers. I mean, there's no way they lose that game by more than 2 scores. You know? I think if you're going to get a teaser, it's close to like 2-score game, and I don't see them losing by like 14 points, but I still think Packers win this game.
So who would you tease San Francisco with? Because obviously it takes 2 to tango in a teaser.
I mean, I would do the 49ers and like the Chiefs on a teaser. If you can get them as an underdog, teaser. I mean, it's hard to go wrong with that at home. I mean, like we said, it's going to be a close game regardless.
So if you do a teaser, that brings Kansas City to +4.5 at home. I like that a lot. And that would bring San Francisco to -12 if you're just doing a normal 6-point tease. So that actually, I do like that one a lot. I would say my lock, and I didn't even think about doing teasers for this. I'm just kind of making this up as we go here. I would say my lock would be the Rams over Tampa. I just think this Tampa team is too banged up, and at some point that's going to come back to bite them. Yes, going against Tom Brady in the playoffs is almost a suicide mission, but I think this year's version of Tom Brady, dare I say, this may be the end finally. He hasn't played as well. You can see his decline just slowly, ever so slowly going downhill. Now, I think, and I said this on Wednesday's podcast, Lockdown Corner, make sure to subscribe on Apple and Spotify podcasts. There comes a point where when you're older, you just need that many more weapons. And at this point, he has 2 that he can rely on, that he trusts. He doesn't trust Cyril Grayson, who's actually hurt. He doesn't trust Bashad Perryman. He just doesn't have the weapons that a 44-year-old quarterback would need to keep advancing in the playoffs. They got a cupcake with Philadelphia last week. The Rams, they're no cupcake. Now, if Stafford throws 4 interceptions, which is totally on the table, fine. Okay, Tampa wins. They're either staying at home against San Francisco or they're coming up here. So I really like the Rams this week as my lock, especially as an underdog. The cross country thing scares me a little bit, but I like the Rams in our lock. So that will do it for today's show. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And also, before we go, quick shout out to our listeners and subscribers to the Lockdown Corner podcast, the mothership. Our hype video has gotten, as of this morning when I checked, we are now up to 80-some subscribers, which when we started this whole thing a week ago, we were at like 10, 12, 13, something like that. We're now up to 25,000 views, like 500 likes. So thank you so much for your support there. And obviously, if you need any more reason to get jacked up for tonight's game, go check it out. It's on YouTube. Lockdown Corner, you can look up our YouTube page, hit the subscribe button, then go watch the hype video. People seem to like it. There are a couple people that are saying go Niners in the comments, which, by the way, if that's you, what's your end game here? Like, it's a Packer hype video. Why are you Niners fans flooding our mentions? I don't get it. But anyway, thank you for your love and support on that. Make sure you check out our Mothership podcast you can watch the live stream on Facebook and YouTube. You can also listen to the audio-only versions of that on Apple and Spotify. That will do it for this week's Gambling Edition. Next week, it probably will be the same crew as we go into championship weekend. Enjoy the games today, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be tight, but as always,